There are a lot of field research tasks available this season, but some have much better rewards than others. So in this video, I will be going through the best research tasks to do to get the best rewards, and I'll be going through the ones that are just not worth your time. And just before I get into it, there are a couple of things you need to know about field research. So all of your field research tasks are viewed in the Today tab, which you can get to by tapping the research button in the bottom right of the map screen. And it's best to use this image to illustrate all the different types of tasks you can get. So first, let's start with the regular and AR mapping tasks, which you can get from spinning Pokestops. You can hold 3 regular field research tasks as well as an AR mapping task at the top. However, you can also get bonus research tasks, which you will get automatically each day, that will fill up any regular field research slots you have available. And even if you do have all 3 taken up by regular field research tasks, then the bonus task will fill up the 4th slot like this. These bonus researches are not from Pokestops like the regular field research tasks, they just appear once a day, and they are tasks that can generally be done from anywhere, unlike regular field research tasks from Pokestops that may require less accessible activities. So 5 research slots is the max you can get at a time, and just above the AR mapping task is the field research stack. But what exactly is this? Well, if you get a Pokemon encounter from field research tasks, you can run away from it and it will appear here in the research stack. And this stack can hold up to 100 encounters, and if you run from another Pokemon after you've stacked 100 encounters, it will delete the oldest encounter and replace it with the new one. This encounter stacking is good for when you have a Stardust boosted Pokemon from tasks that you can run from and keep in the stack until a Stardust boosted event, where you can then go into your stack and catch all of them while the bonus is active and whilst you have a star piece active. You can also pre-bury the encounter and run from it, and it will keep that berry attached to it whilst it's in the stack. And above the field research stack are the research breakthrough stamps. You get a stamp for completing your first field research task of the day, and if you get 7 of these by completing a research task on 7 different days, you will get a research breakthrough, which will reward XP, Stardust, one of these items, and an encounter with either Alakazam, Aggron, Sinistea, Morpeko, Dreepy, or Frigiback. And these encounters do change seasonally and sometimes monthly. It's always worth doing at least 1 field research task per day to work on getting this research breakthrough, because it is the only way you can get free remote raid passes in the game. Of the current possible research breakthrough encounters, Alakazam is a great one because Mega Alakazam is the 2nd best psychic type attacker with Confusion and Legacy move Psychic. The candy may also be useful for Max Alakazam, which will be the best psychic type attacker for max battles. For Aggron, Mega Aggron is the 14th best steel type attacker with Iron Tail and Heavy Slam, and Morpeko is one for Go Battle League, where it is ranked 14 in the Great League. Dreepy also has relevance as Dragapult is the 11th best ghost type attacker with Astonish and Shadow Ball, and Frigibax's evolution Baxcalibur is the 7th best ice type raid attacker with Ice Fang and Avalanche, and it's ranked 55 in the Master League. Now moving on to the field research tasks for this season, and which you should be doing and which you should be avoiding. I just want to note that the IV floor for Pokemon from research is 10-10-10, making some PvP IV spreads more difficult to obtain, but you can always mirror trade with low friendship level friends to try and re-roll the IVs if you want to, but do also note that perfect PvP IVs mostly matter at the highest level of PvP, and other things like team composition and moveset are much more important. So if your Pokemon doesn't have the perfect PvP IVs, it is definitely still usable. So starting with the catching tasks. Firstly, we have the catch 7 Pokemon task, which rewards encounters with Magikarp, Stuffle, or Wimpod. These are notably all 400 candy evolution Pokemon, so they could all be worth it if you need their evolutions for the Pokedex. And this task is an easy one to do, so it is pretty much just worth doing anyway. More specifically though, Magikarp is a great encounter with Mega Gyarados being the 5th best water type raid attacker with Waterfall and Hydro Pump, and it's a 10th best dark type with Bite and Crunch. Gyarados itself is also ranked 57 in the Master League. For Wimpod, Golisopod does see play in all 3 of the main Go Battle Leagues. It's ranked 94 in the Great League and in the Ultra League, and it's ranked 85 in the Master League. We then have the catch 10 Pokemon task that offers these rewards and encounters. This is generally a really easy one to do no matter where you are, and it can reward some decent items like rare candy, and Abra is worth it like I mentioned before with Alakazam. The task that requires you to catch a dragon type Pokemon is a little bit more challenging, but it does offer these items or encounters with Dratini, Bagon, or Axew. This one could be pretty tricky with dragon types being rarer spawns in the game, but the rewards are actually pretty good. Dratini is a solid encounter with Dragonite being a decent budget dragon type raid attacker with Dragon Tail and Legacy move Draco Meteor, but do note that it does have a Mega Evolution coming in the future, and it will improve its performance as a dragon type raid attacker. And in Go Battle League, Dragonite itself is ranked 51. Even better for raid attacking though is Salamence, because Mega Salamence is the 6th best dragon type with Dragon Tail and Draco Meteor, and it's the 3rd best flying type with Dragon Tail and Fly. Worth noting though that if you do have access to Mega Rayquaza, it is better in both aspects, so Mega Salamence in that case would be less of a priority to go after. Salamence itself is also ranked 83 in the Master League. Axew's evolution Haxorus is an even better budget dragon type attacker than Dragonite, being the 16th best with Dragon Tail and Legacy move Breaking Swipe. The catch a Ditto task task can reward either of these items, but honestly Ditto is pretty rare, so probably not worth holding on to this one unless you know there's a Ditto event coming up where Ditto is spawning more frequently, like the completely normal event taking place on the 23rd of September. Other than that, it is just going to block your research slots. The catch 10 normal type Pokemon task will reward you with either of these items, and it's only really worth doing this task if you need the Mega Pidgeot energy if you haven't Mega Evolved a Pidgeot before. And Pidgeot only requires 100 Mega energy to Mega Evolve for the first time, and it's the 8th best flying type attacker with Legacy Move Gust and Charge Attack Brave Bird. Do note though, if you already have Mega Evolved a Pidgeot, you can just walk any Pidgey, Pidgeotto or Pidgeot as your buddy to get more Mega energy. We then have catch 10 fire type Pokemon which offers either of these rewards, and it is the Mega energy for Charizard and Blaziken which would make this task worth doing. Mega Charizard Y and Mega Blaziken are the top 2 fire type raid attackers in the game with Fire Spin and Legacy Move Blast Burn. Mega Blaziken has slightly more damage per second and Mega Charizard Y has more total damage output. These two are really close in terms of fire type raid attackers, so definitely good to have them both. Mega Blaziken however does have the advantage of also being the 3rd best fighting type attacker in the game with Counter and Focus Blast. The catch 10 water type Pokemon task is similar because it does reward the same items, but instead you can get Mega energy for Blastoise or Swampert. Mega Blastoise is the 4th best water type attacker with Water Gun and Legacy Move Hydro Cannon, and Blastoise itself is ranked 56 in the Ultra League. Mega Swampert on the other hand is even more relevant as a raid attacker, being the 2nd best water type raid attacker with Water Gun and Legacy Move Hydro Cannon, and it's the 10th best ground type with Mudshot and Earthquake. And we do have the catch 10 grass type Pokemon version of this task, which does reward either of these rewards, and again it is the Mega energy for Venusaur and Sceptile that have the most value. Mega Venusaur is the 3rd best grass type with Vine Whip and Legacy Move Frenzy Plant, but it is Mega Sceptile that is even more relevant with it being the best grass type attacker in the game with Fury Cutter and Legacy Move Frenzy Plant. Moving on, we do have the catch 7 different species of Pokemon task. This can get you an encounter with Lickitung, Wooper, Paldean Wooper, Rookidee, Gossifleur or Sizzlipede. So we have a few encounters here that are good for Go Battle League, but as I mentioned before, the IV floor isn't really ideal. Wooper's evolution Quagsire is ranked 87 in the Great League. Paldean Wooper's evolution Clodsire is even more relevant, being ranked 9 and ranked 20 in the Great League with its 2 best movesets, and Rookidee's evolution Corviknight is one of the best Pokemon in PvP at the moment, being ranked 1 in both the Great and the Ultra Leagues. Next we have the catch 5 Pokemon with a weather boost, which will get you either of these items or an encounter with Vulpix, Poliwag, Wingull, Hippopotas, Snova, Roggenrola or Vanillite. This is a pretty easy task to do, so generally it is going to be worth doing for that reason. But not only that, there are some relevant encounters here as well. Vulpix's evolution Ninetales is strong in Go Battle League, being ranked 31 in the Great League and ranked 37 in the Ultra League. Snova is a decent encounter for Mega Abomasnow, which is the 9th best ice type with Powder Snow and Weather Ball, and Roggenrola's evolution Gigalith is a decent budget rock type raid attacker with Smackdown and Meteor Beam. And the last 2 tasks for this category are catch 10 Pokemon with a weather boost and use 5 berries to help catch Pokemon. These offer no encounters and the item rewards are nothing special, but the tasks are quick and easy to do, so worth doing because of that. Moving on to the throwing tasks. First we have make 5 curveball throws in a row, and it can get you these items. Again, this is quick and easy to do, so worth doing for that reason. The make 5 nice throws task will get you these rewards, including encounters with Diglett, Alolan Diglett and Sudowoodo. None of these encounters have any meta relevance, but again it is fairly quick and easy to do, but not really worth going out of your way to do. Make 3 nice throws in a row and make 2 nice curveball throws in a row can get you either of these items, but they aren't really worth doing. Make 3 great throws can reward you with either of these items or encounters with Omanyte, Kabuto, Clamperl, Elgyem or Binacle. Omanyte and Kabuto don't have much meta relevance, but you may need to catch them for the Let's Go Meltan special research, and Clamperl is a perma boosted shiny with 1 in 64 shiny rates, so could be worth going after it for the shiny. We then have make 3 great throws in a row that offers either of these rewards. It's worth doing this task for a couple of reasons. Firstly, you may need the Leap or Anorith for the Let's Go Meltan special research, and the Leap's evolution Cradily is ranked 12 in the Great League and 34 in the Ultra League. The task that requires you to make 3 great curveball throws and make 3 great curveball throws in a row are only really worth doing if they're offering rare candy or stardust. The make 5 great curveball throws in a row tasks are worth doing because it is the only way to encounter Spinder in the game, and the Spinder patterns do change each season, and there are actually 9 that have been released in the game so far. It is also a perma boosted 1 in 64 shiny. The task that requires you to make an excellent throw offers these possible rewards, but it's not really worth doing unless you know you can consistently hit an excellent throw, because the rewards aren't really that great and you could end up just wasting time. We then have make 2 excellent throws, which is worth doing because it does get you an encounter with Jangmo-o, which is a pretty rare Pokemon to come by in the wild, and its evolution Komo-o does have relevance in all 3 of the main Go Battle Leagues. It's ranked 55 in the Great League, ranked 25 in the Ultra League, and ranked 73 in the Master League. And lastly for the throwing tasks is make 3 excellent throws in a row, and it can get you an encounter with Larvitar, Beldum, or Gible. This task is definitely worth doing despite being one of the most challenging field research tasks in the game, because each of the possible encounters have strong meta relevance. Firstly, for Larvitar, Mega Tyranitar is the third best rock type with legacy move Smackdown and charge attack Stone Edge, and it's the best dark type attacker in the game with Bite and Brutal Swing. Beldum also has meta relevance with Metagross being the sixth best steel type attacker with Bullet Punch and legacy move Meteor Mash. It does also have a Mega coming at some point in the future which will be even more relevant, and Metagross itself is ranked 25 in the Master League. And for Gible, Mega Garchomp is the third best dragon type raid attacker with Dragon Tail and Breaking Swipe, and it's the second best ground type with Mudshot and legacy move Earth Power. Moving on to the battle tasks. Firstly, we have the win a trainer battle in Go Battle League task, and this can get you encounters with Male Frillish, Galarian Stunfisk, Carbink, or some Keldeo candy. This one could be worth doing if you are a Go Battle League player because all three of the Pokemon encounters have relevance in Go Battle League. Frillish's evolution Jellicent is one of the highest ranked Pokemon in the Great League at rank 17, and it's ranked 20 in the Ultra League. Galarian Stunfisk is ranked 86 in the Great League and ranked 108 in the Ultra League, and Carbink is very strong in the Great League, being ranked number 2. And this is one of the few tasks that does award Keldeo candy this season, and Keldeo is a relevant raid attacker and it's relevant in Go Battle League. It's the 8th best fighting type attacker with Low Kick and Sacred Sword, and it's ranked 78 in the Master League. The win a raid task will get you an encounter with either Alolan Exeggutor, Skarmory, Skiddo, or Rockruff, and there are actually a few reasons why this one could be worth doing. Firstly, Alolan Exeggutor and Rockruff are perma boosted shinies with 1 in 64 shiny rates, so if you are looking to get these shinies then it could be worth doing the task for that. Skiddo is also available from this, and it's only been recently made available globally, so there is a good chance you either don't have it or you don't have the candy to evolve it yet. The win a 3-star raid or higher task will get you an encounter with Archen or Tortuga. Neither of them have meta relevance, so you can skip this one. The win 5 raids task can get you one of these items or an encounter with either Alolan Exeggutor, Alolan Marowak, or Aerodactyl. Firstly, all 3 of the encounters do have perma boosted shiny rates of 1 in 64, but apart from Mega Aerodactyl being relevant in the fact it's the 5th best rock type attacker with Rock Throw and Rock Slide, and the fact that you may need Aerodactyl for the Let's Go Meltan special research, these Pokemon don't really have much meta relevance. And to do 5 raids for one of these encounters isn't really worth it, so I don't recommend doing this one unless you need these Pokemon for something specific. And lastly, for the battle tasks is win a max battle, and this one rewards 1000 Stardust and is pretty much worth doing because you can easily solo a 1-star max battle to get this one done. Moving on to the exploring tasks, for hatching an egg you can get an encounter with either Scyther, Sudowoodo, Nincada, Trubbish, Phoebus, Clamperl, or Phalanx. So some notable points for this task is that Scyther, Nincada, Phoebus, Clamperl, and Phalanx all have perma boosted 1 in 64 shiny rates. Scyther's evolution Scizor does have a mega evolution that's the 3rd best bug type with Fury Cutter and X Scissor, and Trubbish is a Stardust boosted Pokemon that gives 750 Stardust per catch. But other than that, these Pokemon don't have much meta relevance, so I wouldn't really bother too much with this task unless you hatch eggs frequently. The hatch 2 eggs task rewards an encounter with Sneasel, Mawile, or Phoebus, and this one is even less worth doing than the last one. Both Mawile and Phoebus are perma boosted 1 in 64 shinies, but the most relevant reward from this is Sneasel because Weavile is a decent budget ice and dark type attacker, being the 20th and 21st best respectively. So honestly, unless you hatch a lot of eggs, this one isn't really worth doing. For exploring 2 kilometers, you will get an encounter with either one of the 2 Ponyta or Yamper. Unless you need them for the dex or your shiny hunting, none of them have meta relevance, so honestly I would just avoid this one. Next we have the spin 3 Pokestops or gym task, and you can get one of these item rewards or an encounter with Doduo, Remoraid, Routes, or Aron. Out of these, Aron is a decent encounter for Mega Aggron like I mentioned before, but it is Routes that's the standout encounter here because Mega Gardevoir is the best fairy type raid attacker in the game with Charm and Dazzling Gleam, and it's the 5th best psychic type with Confusion and Psychic. And Mega Gallade is the 14th best fighting type with Low Kick and Close Combat, and it's the 4th best psychic type with Confusion and Psychic. Generally this task is quick and easy to do, so definitely worth doing. We then have the spin 5 Pokestops or gyms task, and it can get you either of these item rewards or an encounter with one of the Growlithe, Slowpoke, or Meowth. None of these have any meta relevance, but the Kanto Meowth is a Stardust boosted Pokemon that gives 500 Stardust per catch, and the Alolan Meowth gives 750 per catch. And do note that Hisuian Growlithe, Alolan Meowth, and Galarian Meowth all have perma boosted 1 in 64 shiny rates. Despite these Pokemon not having much meta relevance, it is a pretty easy task to do if you live in an area with quite a few Pokestops or gyms, so it will most likely be worth doing unless you live rurally where it's hard to come by Pokestops. And lastly for the exploring tasks is take a snapshot of a wild Pokemon, and this can get you any of these items as rewards or encounters with Trapinch, Croagunk, or Cottony. None of these Pokemon really have any meta relevance, but it is an easy task to do, so probably worth doing anyway. Next we have the training tasks, and first we have evolve a Pokemon. This can get you an encounter with Eevee, Starly, Woobat, or Squovit, and not only is this a really easy task to complete, but some of these encounters do also have meta relevance as well. Out Out of all of the evolutions, Glaceon is a decent budget ice-type raid attacker, being the 18th best with Frost Breath and Avalanche. And likewise, Sylveon is a budget fairy type, being the 22nd best with Charm and Dazzling Gleam, and it's a budget option for the Master League, being ranked 100. Starly also has relevance with Staraptor being the 17th best flying type, with Legacy move Gust and Charged Attack Fly. The Evolve 3 Pokemon task will get you 2 Keldeo candy, and this one is well worth doing, especially with the Keldeo candy being hard to come by, with it being a mythical Pokemon that you can only get one of. The Mega Evolver Pokemon task will get you a reward with a rare candy, and this is also worth doing because it is quick and easy. The Power Up a Pokemon 3 times task can get you any of these item rewards or encounters with Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle. Each of these encounters do have relevance. For Bulbasaur, Mega Venusaur is the 3rd best grass type with Vine Whip and Frenzy Plant. For Squirtle, Mega Blastoise is the 4th best water type with Water Gun and Hydro Cannon. Blastoise is also ranked 56 in the Ultra League as well, and the candy could be useful for Max or G-Max Blastoise, which are decent tanks for max battles. And for Charmander, Mega Charizard Y is the best fire type attacker in terms of total damage output, and 2nd best in terms of damage per second. The candy is also useful for G-Max Charizard, which is the 2nd best fire type for max battles. Do note that for this and all of the power up tasks that I will be going through, it does require a lot less Stardust if you power up multiple low level Pokemon instead of one higher level Pokemon, because at high levels, Stardust cost does ramp up quite a lot. For the power up Pokemon 5 times task, you can get an encounter with Snivy, Tepig, or Oshawott, or you can get Mega Energy for Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, Beedrill, Pidgeot, Manectric, or Aggron. This task is pretty much always worth doing because all of the rewards are useful in some way. Tepig's Evolution Emboar doesn't have much meta relevant currently, but it is a starter Pokemon in Pokemon Legends ZA, meaning it will probably get a Mega Evolution. For Oshawott, Samurott is a decent budget water type attacker, being the 19th best with Fury Cutter and Hydro Cannon. Samurott's also ranked 75 in the Great League and 103 in the Ultra League. The Mega Energy for Venusaur, Blastoise, Charizard, Pidgeot, and Aggron are all worth getting, as I've mentioned before in this video. The Beedrill Mega Energy will also be worth it because Mega Beedrill is the 5th best bug type with Legacy move Bug Bite and Charged Attack X Scissor, and it's the 3rd best poison type with Poison Jab and Sludge Bomb. And the energy for Manectric is also worth getting because Mega Manectric is the 4th best electric type attack with Thunderfang and Wild Charge, and it's the best electric type Mega. We then have the Power Up a Pokemon 7 times task, which will get you an encounter with Rowlet, Litten, or Poplio. For Rowlet, Decidueye is a decent budget grass type attacker, being the 20th best with Magical Leaf and Frenzy Plant. Likewise, Litten's evolution Incineroar is the 17th best dark type with Snarl and Darkest Lariat, and Poplio's evolution Primarina is also a decent budget raid attacker, being the 23rd best fairy type with Charm and Moonblast, and the 15th best water type with Ward's Fall and Hydro Cannon. It's also ranked 47 in the Master League. So if you don't have any Pokemon of these types that are any better, then these are definitely worth going after. For the Power Up Pokemon 10 times task, you can get Mega Energy for Alakazam or Slowbro. This one is definitely worth doing for Mega Alakazam Energy, like I mentioned before, but Mega Slowbro is less relevant, but it is also worth getting access to if you haven't Mega Evolved one before. There is also a Power Up a Pokemon 20 times task this season, and it will get you Mega Energy for Diancie. So if you do have Diancie and you haven't Mega Evolved it before, then it's worth doing this task. It is a very relevant Pokemon, being the best rock type raid attacker in the game. The earn 10k XP and 10k Stardust tasks are worth doing despite the rewards not being that great, because these tasks are basically free because you will be getting them done with just playing the game normally. For the buddy and friendship tasks, first we do have the earn 2 candies while walking with your buddy task, and this can get you these item rewards or an encounter with Jigglypuff, Baneri, Glameow, Bunnelby, Litleo, or Dedenne. And there are a couple of Pokemon that are worth doing this task for. Jigglypuff's evolution Wigglytuff is ranked 40 in the Great League, and Bunnelby's evolution Diggersby is one of the highest ranked Pokemon in the Great League, being ranked 15. If you are going to do this task, I do recommend walking a Pokemon that only requires 1 kilometer to get a candy, and if the Pokemon is excited, this distance will be halved. The earn 3 candies while walking with your buddy task can get you an encounter with either of the Stunfisks, and this task could be worth doing if you want either of these Pokemon for Go Battle League, and the Unova Stunfisk in particular is ranked 8 in the Great League and 45 in the Ultra League. With the send 3 gifts and add a sticker to each task, you can get an encounter with Magikarp, Swablu, or Noibat, and this one is quick and easy to do, and all of these encounters are 400 candy evolutions, with Magikarp and Gyarados being the most relevant, as I mentioned before. The trade a Pokemon task can get you an encounter with Graveler, Carablast, Shelmet, or Phantom. All of these Pokemon can be evolved for 0 candy when traded, but out of these encounters, the Pokemon with the most meta relevance is Phantom, with Trevenant being ranked 90 in the Ultra League. For the defeat 3 Team Go Rocket Grunts task, you can get an encounter with Rhyhorn, Golett, or Nickit. This one is worth doing because Rhyhorn's evolution Rhyperior is the 17th best ground type with Mudslap and Earthquake, and it's the 9th best rock type with Smackdown and Rock Wrecker. It's also ranked 44 in the Master League. We do also have a couple of sponsored tasks. Send 3 gifts to friends and catch 8 Pokemon, and they can reward either 1 rare candy or 1000 Stardust, and these tasks are generally quick and easy to do from wherever you are. And there is also also the AR scanning task, which does require you to scan a Pokestop, and it will get you either of these rewards. These tasks are only really worth doing if the Poffin is the reward, because Poffins are mostly only available in the in-game shop, and it is a useful item that instantly excites your buddy Pokemon to allow it to gain more buddy hearts. With that said, if you did find this video useful, then I recommend checking out these videos on the screen next, and I'll catch you in the next one.